The United States and Canada share the world's longest undefended border, stretching over 5,500 miles. This border is a testament to the peaceful and cooperative relationship between the two nations. It is a unique symbol of trust and mutual respect, where citizens can cross with relative ease, fostering a sense of community and shared purpose. They are not just neighbors but close friends and allies. This bond is evident in their frequent diplomatic meetings, joint military exercises, and collaborative efforts in international organizations. The leaders of both countries often emphasize the importance of their partnership, which is built on shared values and common goals. The two countries have a long history of trade. From the early days of fur trading to the modern era of high-tech goods and services, trade has been a cornerstone of their relationship. Historical agreements such as the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, and its successor, the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, have further solidified this economic bond. In fact, they are each other's biggest trading partners. The flow of goods and services between the US and Canada is immense, with millions of jobs in both countries depending on this trade. This interdependence is a key driver of economic growth and stability in the region. Every day, billions of dollars worth of goods flow across the border. This includes everything from raw materials and agricultural products to manufactured goods and technology. The seamless movement of these goods is facilitated by efficient border infrastructure and customs processes, ensuring that businesses can operate smoothly and consumers have access to a wide range of products. From cars and computers to food and energy, the US and Canada rely on each other. The automotive industry, for example, sees parts and vehicles crossing the border multiple times during the manufacturing process. Similarly, energy resources like oil and natural gas flow between the two countries, powering homes and industries. Agricultural products, such as wheat and dairy, are also major components of this trade, feeding millions of people. This close relationship benefits businesses and consumers in both countries. Small businesses, in particular, thrive on the ability to access markets across the border. Consumers enjoy a diverse array of products and competitive prices, thanks to the robust trade network. Trade expos and business forums further enhance this relationship by providing platforms for collaboration and innovation. But what if this vital trade relationship were to suddenly stop? The implications would be profound and far-reaching. The seamless flow of goods and services that we often take for granted would come to a halt, disrupting supply chains and causing shortages. Imagine a scenario where Canada decides to ban all imports from the United States. This drastic measure could be triggered by political disagreements, economic disputes, or other unforeseen circumstances. The immediate impact would be felt by businesses that rely on cross-border trade, leading to financial losses and operational challenges. This drastic move would have significant and far-reaching consequences for both nations. Empty store shelves would become a common sight as essential goods become scarce. Factories that depend on imported materials would face shutdowns, leading to job losses and economic downturns. The ripple effects would be felt across various sectors, from manufacturing and retail to agriculture and energy. The economic, political, and social impacts would be impossible to ignore. Politicians and policymakers would be under immense pressure to resolve the crisis, while citizens would demand swift action to restore normalcy. Social unrest could arise as people grapple with the sudden changes in their daily lives. The interconnectedness of the US and Canada means that any disruption in their relationship would have profound implications, highlighting the importance of maintaining strong and cooperative ties. The first impact of an import ban would be felt by Canadian consumers. As they walk through the aisles of their local grocery stores, they would quickly notice the absence of many familiar products. Items they have come to rely on for their daily meals would be missing, causing immediate concern and confusion. Supermarkets would see shortages of familiar products. Shelves that were once stocked with a variety of goods would now be empty or sparsely filled. This would not only affect the availability of products, but also the variety that consumers are used to. Many everyday goods would become more expensive or even disappear from shelves altogether. The scarcity of products would drive prices up, making it harder for families to afford their usual groceries. This inflation would be felt most acutely in essential items like bread, milk, and eggs. Canada relies heavily on the US for food imports, especially fruits and vegetables. Without these imports, the availability of fresh produce would plummet. This dependency means that any disruption in the supply chain has immediate and significant consequences for Canadian consumers. Canadians would face higher grocery bills and limited choices. The increased cost of importing goods from other countries would be passed on to consumers, leading to higher prices at the checkout. This would strain household budgets and force many to make difficult choices about their spending. The ban would also disrupt Canadian industries. Many factories and manufacturing plants rely on a steady supply of American parts and materials to keep their operations running smoothly. Without these essential inputs, production lines would grind to a halt. Many Canadian businesses depend on American parts and materials. This dependency is particularly strong in industries like automotive manufacturing, where specific components are crucial for production. The absence of these parts would lead to significant delays and increased costs. Without these essential inputs, factories would be forced to slow down or even halt production. This would not only affect the businesses themselves, but also the workers who rely on these jobs for their livelihoods. The ripple effect would be felt throughout the economy. This disruption would ripple through the Canadian economy, leading to job losses and slower economic growth. The impact would be widespread, affecting not just the industries directly involved but also the broader economic landscape. As businesses struggle to adapt, the overall economic health of the country would suffer, leading to a period of uncertainty and hardship for many Canadians. The consequences wouldn't be limited to Canada. The economic interdependence between the United States and Canada means that any disruption in trade would have significant repercussions on both sides of the border. The United States would also suffer economically. A decline in trade with Canada, one of its largest trading partners, would lead to a noticeable downturn in the U.S. economy. American businesses that rely on exporting to Canada would lose a major market for their goods. This would affect a wide range of industries, from agriculture to manufacturing to technology. Farmers, manufacturers, and tech companies would all feel the pain. The agricultural sector in particular would be hard hit, as Canada is a major importer of American produce and livestock. This loss of exports would lead to job losses in the U.S. factories that produce goods for the Canadian market, might have to cut back on production or even shut down, leading to layoffs and increased unemployment. The impact would be felt most acutely in border states that have close economic ties with Canada. States like Michigan, New York, and Washington, which have significant trade relationships with Canada, would see the most immediate effects. The overall effect on the U.S. economy would depend on how quickly businesses could find new markets for their products. Companies would need to adapt swiftly, exploring new international markets or increasing their focus on domestic sales to mitigate the impact of lost Canadian trade. Beyond the economic fallout, a trade ban would severely strain U.S.-Canada relations. The U.S. government would likely view the move as a hostile act. There would be pressure to retaliate with tariffs or other trade barriers. This diplomatic row could spill over into other areas of cooperation. The two countries work closely on issues like security, defense, and environmental protection. A trade war could jeopardize these important partnerships. Section 5. Adapting to change. Canadian businesses and consumers adjust. Faced with these challenges, Canadians would begin to adapt. Businesses would look for new suppliers, both domestically and in other countries. This process would take time and would likely involve higher costs. Consumers would also need to adjust their buying habits. They might have to switch to different brands or find substitutes for their favorite products. This shift in consumer behavior could create opportunities for Canadian businesses to step in and fill the void. Section 6. The long road ahead. Finding new suppliers and partners. Finding new trading partners takes time and effort. Canada would need to negotiate new trade agreements and build relationships with other countries. This process could take years and might not fully replace the lost trade with the United States. In the meantime, Canada would likely experience a period of economic uncertainty. Businesses would need to adjust to the new reality, and consumers would face higher prices. The Canadian government would face pressure to support struggling industries and workers. Section 7. The cost of conflict. A look at global trade disputes. The hypothetical situation between the United States and Canada highlights the importance of global trade. We've seen similar trade disputes play out in other parts of the world, often with negative consequences. These disputes can disrupt supply chains, lead to higher prices for consumers, and damage economic growth. They can also create political tensions and undermine international cooperation. Section 8. Lessons learned. The importance of open trade. The interconnected nature of the global economy means that countries benefit from open trade and cooperation. When countries erect trade barriers, everyone loses. The United States and Canada have a long history of mutually beneficial trade. It's in both countries' best interest to maintain this strong economic partnership. Section 9. The future of US-Canada. Trade cooperation or conflict. The scenario of Canada banning all US imports is unlikely. However, it serves as a reminder of the importance of the US-Canada trade relationship. Both countries must work to address trade disputes fairly and constructively. Open communication, compromise, and a commitment to finding solutions that benefit both sides are essential. By working together, the US and Canada can ensure a prosperous future for both nations.